Ladies and gentlemen, I can't believe what we are witnessing with Al Horford in these last couple games because vintage Al has turned back the clock, and you got to give props to Brad Stevens as he was the one who went in and did that. Plus, we'll be diving in and looking at a little bit of an update dealing with the Celtics as they come up in their next game versus the Utah Jazz. We'll be doing all of that and more on this episode of Celtics Digest. I'm Bruce Velez, and with my co-host Patrick. And Patrick, how you doing today?
Doing great, Bruce. Another Celtics win. I couldn't be happier against a great Lakers team, and happy to talk about some Al Horford today. This is awesome.
I know. And we were talking about this nice home stretch for this Boston Celtics team, and they're really holding it on their own with another tough competition coming against the Jazz that we'll be getting to in a little bit. So let's dive in. Let's get into all of that, Patrick. For you guys at home, if you want to make sure you stay up to date on everything, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button as this is the place for you for daily Celtics content. But let's dive into it, Patrick, as this is amazing to see as we've broken down in the introduction as vintage Al Horford is back. It seems like Al Horford has gone in a time machine, potentially gone back to those Atlanta Hawks, even his first stint with the Boston Celtics days, with how impressive he has been in this recent three-game stretch. If we want to look at the stats in that recent three-game stretch, Patrick, we can see for the Celtics that he has been completely dominant. And what are your main takeaways from these three games with Al Horford?
Well, Bruce, like I've said to you, I feel like been the star stopper that we've seen in the past, also in the playoffs as well. We've seen him play well against Giannis. We saw him just play well against Jokic, and we see him play good against Doncic and LeBron, and even Austin Reeves. I mean, he continues to blow us away. You know, LeBron blows us away with being the oldest man in the league, but Al Horford being the fifth oldest and still playing at a high level when games matter. This is huge for the Boston Celtics, especially with the playoffs around the corner. I think this is a massive step in the right direction for the Celtics, even with all these injuries and guys not playing. This is a really good sign for them and as a whole, not even just for Al Horford, but I think just as the team as a whole, this is massive.
Yeah, you mentioned that the Celtics and Al Horford, he is such an effective defender. He's defined as that superstar stopper, the Giannis stopper, the Embiid stopper, the LeBron and Luca stopper here right now. And it just comes to life every single time he's on the court. You see him when he's in those big game moments. We know the definition of the stay ready group. He's kind of not part of that as he comes off the bench, but he enlists that as well because when he needs to be starting for the Celtics or needs to come big for them on one side of the ball, he absolutely delivers. And it's been cooled off since last season, and a lot of people, when Porzingis and Holiday were brought in, were like, "Oh, Horford going to the bench, it's not going to be that impactful." And we haven't seen that offensive leap as much with Al Horford, but in recent games we have. We want to look at his stats, looking at the last 2 months in February and January, you can see the sporadic numbers from Al Horford here and there, offensively as he has gotten a little bit older. But from this stat, we can obviously see that Al Horford was absolutely fantastic in isolation on Saturday, guarding against these guys, Luka Doncic and LeBron James. He allowed 0.39 points per direct play per second spectrum, the second best efficiency by any player to defend at least 15 isolations in a game in the past 12 seasons, ladies and gentlemen. That is phenomenal to be coming out of almost a 40-year-old Al Horford. Overall, the Lakers shot 7 for 23 when guarded by Al Horford, with Luka Doncic and LeBron James combining to go 3 for 14. Patrick, that's just a crazy stat to be reading out aloud when referencing to Al Horford.
It doesn't seem real. That's why it's so laughable just looking at this, especially against Doncic and LeBron. It seems like someone in a guy and Al Horford being older, and seems like it would be someone that they would like to take on the isolation, and they had some trouble with it. I mean, again, I would love to get Al Horford tested in these big games. I want to know why he's able to just play at a high level when it comes to these games. It really had that playoff feel as well during this game, and I guess you could really see the difference in Al Horford's play when it means more. It just he's not just taking layups; he's actually going for dunks, Bruce. It is like a little bit of a difference. It's like he gets that adrenaline boost, and he just lives for games like this, and it truly shows, especially in this stat. This is unbelievable.
He feeds off that hunger, feeds off that passion to be competitive, and he brings out the best of Al Horford when the Celtics need him most, right? Going up against guys that are the top tier in the league, Al Horford can come out and stop them and be that guy for the Celtics. And Other people in the Celtics organization have kind of recognized that as well. As post game, we saw Joe Mazzulla spoke up about Al Horford and said at one point he wasn't just coaching, he was just watching him. I was like, man, this guy is a future Hall of Famer. As he was taking up Luka Doncic, elbow or kneeing him on dunks in slow motion. And then we saw Bobby Kravitsky that Jayson Tatum, obviously a great teammate of Al Horford, said on the court and emotionally the Celtics got a lot from Al, saying he's one of a kind, he's the anchor of the defense and the heart and soul of this Celtics team. He keeps us emotionally steady, and he's the biggest Al Horford fan. I love that guy. So not only do the Celtics appreciate what Al gives for them on the court, but as a veteran, as a leader, as what he means to the city of Boston, he is truly impactful. And I tweeted this out. I can't wait to see number 42 go up in those rafters one day.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I was just gonna bring that up as well. It's kind of crazy because back in the day he was definitely known as a Hawks guy, and once he came to the Celtics, he really put his stamp on the Boston Celtics. And now in a second stint, not a lot of fans were happy about that second stint because of the money, but we got the championship and looking for a second one now, and it's really starting to pay off a little bit more. And the money isn't even a thought anymore, and everyone knows that they could count on Al Horford to come up in these big moments and guard their best players. Like we keep saying, Giannis, Embiid, Jokic, he's guarding them and he's playing well against them, and the stats show it as well.
Yeah, I think you hit it perfect. The second stint, I know a lot of Celtics fans, some friends of mine as well, that were very confused by this move by the Celtics when they traded for Al Horford back. And I was maybe a little bit sour from the 76ers departure as well. And I was like, guys, you got to trust in Brad Stevens. You got to realize that this contract and Al Horford is going to bring so much more value than an injured Kemba Walker. And as you can already see, we have seen those great repercussions for the Boston Celtics with Al Horford just being a great leader in the locker room, but on the court as well, displaying his excellence. A big shout out to Al Horford. And let us know your thoughts down below in the comment section on Al Horford, as he was absolutely phenomenal. But Patrick, we got some more to break into with this Celtics team as we get in a little bit of a sneak peek for tonight, as the Celtics do take on the Utah Jazz. Maybe not as a prolific game as the Nuggets or the Lakers, but still an interesting one for the Boston Celtics here. And for tonight, they're going against the Jazz with three guys on the injury report. The main man we were just talking about, Al Horford, with the left big toe sprain. He is questionable. We all know what that usually means. Porzingis, doubtful with that illness, non-COVID, was supposed to come back in that Lakers game. And Tatum, with some right knee tendinopathy, questionable as well. The Jazz, it did not bring up their injury report, but they had a long list as well. 6 to 8 guys that are going to be on their injury report. And Jaden Springer is also questionable heading into this game. So when you see this kind of getting a little bit of a sneak preview for a low tier Western Conference team, what are your kind of thoughts for tonight for the Celtics?
Well, this is one that we've kind of been talking about since last week, right? I think we're going to see some Kata tonight. Especially, I think Al Horford will get the night off tonight. Seems like he'll get some extra rest after that big game on Saturday. Porzingis again, 6 straight games with this illness. I don't know what's going on over there. I'd like to find out some more stuff, but nothing's really been out. He's just being called sick, I guess. And then Tatum as well might get the night off as well. But I like to see that duo of Luke Cornett and Amias Kita go at it again. I definitely enjoyed how they played together, and I think that's a connection down the line in the playoffs that can be a little bit underrated. But if we get into some foul trouble, you get a little bit more comfortable with these two guys, and they have a lot to prove. So I think that could be fun as well. And maybe we'll see more Jordan Walsh tonight. What do you think?
I 100% agree. I think this is going to be a big Kata game tonight, and I'd love to see him and Luke kind of get some more run in developmental time, similar with Walsh as well, versus a weaker opponent like the Utah Jazz. I'd love to kind of see some of these end of the bench guys or guys that are fighting for those roles in the late playoffs for an end of the bench role to kind of see what they can produce for this Celtics team. And yeah, Horford, Tatum going to get the rest that they do deserve. Nice to see Jrue Holiday is not on this injury report as well, which means he should be ready to go for the Celtics. So having him, Derrick White, Jaylen Brown, most likely Luke Cornett, Sam Hauser, Namus Keita, Peyton Pritchard. That's a solid lineup here for the Celtics still taking on this Utah Jazz team. And I think we're going to see a nice little victory here. Like we said, they're on this nice road stretch. They need to keep it going. And they got another big game coming up against the Oklahoma City Thunder on Wednesday. So take the night off for the Stars a little bit, give them a little bit of rest, gear them up for on Wednesday, and still trying to find a victory. That's how I'm kind of feeling.
Yeah, I mean they've been playing some great basketball lately. I mean, since that Cavs game that they kind of blew the lead on once, as we've seen many times. But They've done a lot better as of recently coming down the line when it comes to those quarters that they're struggling in. They've been playing a lot better. I think they're kind of gaining more confidence in themselves playing these big games. If they beat the Jazz tonight and go ahead and beat the Thunder again at home, I mean, this is just a great home stretch and one that was definitely needed for a team that's great on the road, but not so great at home, as we've seen in the playoffs as well in the past. So I'm definitely excited to see how this week will end up for the Celtics.
Same here, and I'm hoping that they can finish it off strong, securing this home win stand, and can go off in the end of March and April to secure a top tier playoff spot to really set us up for this NBA Finals run. But Patrick, this was an absolute best video where we described Al Horford and went over a little bit of the Boston Celtics as well. So let us know your thoughts down below in the comment section, how you guys ultimately feel about this Celtics team, and make sure to stay tuned as Patrick and I will be live once again on Wednesday for that weekly stream at 6 p.m. Eastern. So hope to catch you guys all there. Signing off on Celtics Digest are your boys Bruce and Patrick, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day, and go Boston Celtics.